virus had an astounding mortality rate of nearly 90%. In less than 2 months, it claimed some 300 lives. Then suddenly the nightmare ended, and no one knew why.
Ladies and gentlemen, ladies and gents, starting this one out a little bit differently. Matter of fact, I've never started a video out with a video. Please understand something. There are some things that are said in this documentary that's done by National Geographic, and that was done previously to COVID. I want you guys to listen to what's being said by some of the experts. We're going to catch them in some phrases. Now, these are the experts. Now, pay attention to what they're saying. Usually, when people tell a lie and they don't practice the lie, they usually tell their knowledge of things, especially when they're classified as experts. We're going to listen to a couple of military medical doctors, and, well, let's just pay attention.
Why?
They just knew the virus popped out of nowhere and it disappeared just as quickly.
Epidemiologists named it Ebola Zaire after the nearby Ebola River and dreaded its return, which it did, in just a few relatively contained outbreaks over the next decade. But the greatest fear was that someday the virus would emerge in a densely populated region, which it also did.
So back in 1989, in the Washington suburb of Reston, all of a sudden, a bunch of monkeys at a warehouse started dying.
Hazelton Laboratories, Reston.
Hold on. All of a sudden, I want you guys to pay attention. This is a research laboratory. It's not just any place. It's a research laboratory. Let's
In Virginia, one of the largest animal testing companies in the country. A shipment of 100 long-tailed macaques came in from the Philippines. 2 were dead on arrival. The illness quickly spread to dozens of monkeys. Desperate for a diagnosis, the company sent samples to a high-security lab run by the military. The U.S. Army Medical Research Institute of Infectious Diseases, or USAMRIID. Lieutenant Colonel Nancy Jacks examined the tissues.
Lieutenant Colonel. Now, I want you guys to pay attention. She's a Lieutenant Colonel. And I want you to focus on what this expert has to say.
What we found then was really pretty alarming. I was seeing a section of liver. I saw all these very large cells, which are called macrophages, and they were full of material, which is very typical in a filovirus infection.
A filovirus, a tiny spaghetti-like strand that replicates at lightning speed and causes devastating diseases. Dr. Jacks was very familiar with them. She worked behind layers of bomb-resistant walls where the Army stored an archive of frozen killers. Marburg, Ebola Sudan, and the most lethal of all, Ebola Zaire. Dr. Jacks used her stash of filoviruses to compare to the monkey sample, and to her surprise, the one that matched was the virus that struck Zaire in 1976.
We're thinking, well, that's not possible. We need to check it again. And they checked it 3 times, and every time there was no mix-up. It was showing positive for Ebola Zaire.
I think Nancy came to my office and
I
said,
did come to his office.
"You're not going to believe what just happened. You know, it looks like we've got Ebola virus in these monkeys in Virginia." There was a lot of confusion and going, "Oh, wow, this is really crazy. What are we going to do?"
We immediately had to kick into high gear.
The Army formed a battle plan. First order, euthanize the monkeys to prevent an epidemic. Nancy's husband, Colonel Jerry Jacks, led the team.
Nobody likes killing monkeys, but we were in an emergency situation. It was something that we had to do to make sure that we didn't have a significant outbreak within the human population.
They dodged a bullet, and they soon realized this strain of Ebola wasn't harmful to humans. But they knew it was only a matter of time before they'd have to face the unimaginable.
The question, of course, is are you going to get a mutation that then makes it more airborne or make...
Wait. Did you hear what she just said? She says, are you going to get a mutation that makes it more airborne? Now, look at her. Look at how she's dressed. Look at the time period that this is done. I thought Ebola wasn't airborne. I thought you could only get it through bodily fluids. Hold on. Well, she's an expert, ladies and gentlemen. Let's hear her say it again.
Makes it more airborne or makes it
Wait. Makes it more airborne? But I thought it wasn't airborne. Some of you are not picking it up. I know some of you are not getting it. I know some of you are not understanding what she's saying. So I'm going to have her say it one more time. Now remember, she's not speaking of in the past. She's speaking of now. Okay? She's speaking of her knowledge as a epidemiologist, a researcher, an expert. And remember, even at that time, and even at today's time, Ebola is not airborne. Go ahead and do all your research, even though there was a study in Canada which documented that it was. But the official report is that it's not airborne. Let's do it again.
makes it more airborne or makes it more contagious.
More airborne and more contagious. So we do know it was contagious. So we can't say that it was contagious at that time, but not airborne at that time. And remember, their focus is on 1976. Their focus is not on any other time. And this is her research at the time. So she's documenting that Ebola was airborne and that they knew it was airborne. Exactly what I had been yelling and screaming to everybody for the last 5 years. That they knew that it was airborne. Now, you have Ebola being airborne and you have Corona being airborne. Let's finish.
What we did in a contained building was pretty dramatic, but imagine if it was a city.
The nightmare scenario for global public health officials is something that combines the transmissibility of something like the Spanish flu, which infected probably about 1 billion people a century
Corona
ago, and the mortality of Ebola.
What keeps me up at night is that we'll have a disease that's transmitted by droplets.
Something that is respiratory borne, that is a virus like influenza, likely influenza, that has both high degree of transmissibility and high degree of morbidity and mortality.
If something like
Wait. How could he sit up here and talk about Corona and Corona hasn't even happened? Okay, let's listen to him. This is Dr. Fauci when he was younger. Look at the hair. Look at the face.
That has both high degree of transmissibility and high degree of morbidity and mortality.
if something like that spreads around the world, we're just not ready to fight it.
Whoa, wait a minute. Did you just hear them tell us that they were expecting something like that to spread around the world and how they would not have the ability to fight it? So how could they come up with a vaccine in 7 months? No, 9 vaccines in 7 months. And they keep approving them, even after they pull them off the market. Next thing you know, they're right back on the market. The exact same thing is right back on the market. Interesting, ain't it? Now, I want you guys to hear this one more time because it is very important that you guys hear what this man has to say.
That is respiratory borne, that is a virus like influenza, likely influenza, that has both high degree of transmissibility and high degree of morbidity and mortality.
Interesting, ain't it? The reason why I wanted to take the time to do this particular video at this particular
If something
time
like that
is
spreads
because
around the world,
finish.
we're just not ready to fight it.
Isn't that interesting? Okay, ladies and gentlemen, this was produced and put up here in November 2020. However, please understand, the original video, pay attention, the original video was done not in 2020, okay? And you can see Dr. Fauci, that is not that man in 2020. That Dr. Fauci was a whole lot older in 2020. Okay, giving you that information and looking at the, now remember, let's do that. Let's see if I can find it. No, it's up, it's this way. Not there, not there, not there, not there, not there, not there. Hold on, right there. I want to show you something. This is your Lieutenant Colonel. This was her back then in 76. Now, 40 years later is not this. I want y'all to pay attention. Let's get to her. This is not 40 years later, ladies and gentlemen. Look at that hair. That is not 40 years later. This was probably done in the 80s or 90s. okay, because she should be like this now, a lot more like this, because she was a lieutenant colonel. So there is no way in the world that she ain't this now. So why is her hair like this? That's because of the time period that this was done. Okay, I can't tell you exactly what year this was done. I just know the year that this was put up. But I know that these individuals are saying this back then. They're not saying that back now. Even him, he's not saying this now. Look at Dr. Fauci then. Let's do that. Let's put up his name. DR. This was 14 hours ago. So let's take a look at him now. Okay, you just saw those two pictures. So there ain't no way in the world that we could even equate this to being yesterday. Just not going to happen.
We've learned this morning.
Okay, see that right there? Not possible. That's what I wanted to explain to you all. Not possible. Now, take a look at him now, and let's go. And then we're going to go right there.
The virus, like in
And look at him here. Okay, probably 69, probably in his 60s here. But he's in his 80s now. So, but he's explaining this then, pre-COVID. Dr. Fauci, everybody. Oh, by the way, let's get back to you all understanding what's going on. The reason why I'm pointing this out to you is because, oh, wait, I'm sorry. This is January 2019. Now, that's interesting that he would, that's interesting. I'm sorry, I didn't even see that. Something is not right. Hold on. Let's do this. Huh. Something is not right. But they're saying January 2019, so I guess he had a little facelift because in 2 years, that man looks horrible. But in January 2019, he's talking about the very same virus that is about to be introduced. But I know this one, when she's talking about Ebola being airborne and the fact that we've had Ebola outbreaks in the United States. Watch this. Ebola U period period S period 2021. I can't do US because if I did that, it'll be us. So I have to do the periods. Now, this was a month ago. New travel warning and virus in Oregon 1 month ago. Hold on. How can Africa cope with Ebola? Nope, not that one. We're looking for the US. I don't see a lot of US, but they should be talking about it because it's been Oregon and several other states that have talked about it. So let's do the Google thing. People say, why do you keep using Google? We're gonna do this one. I could have done the other one that I did earlier. Now I can't keep this video going on. I'm gonna have to cut it out at 15 minutes because I have a consult. So hold on one second. Okay, as I stated, you had on March 25th, 2021, 23 people in Washington being monitored. Then you have the ones in Oregon being monitored. Okay, this is going on in the United States this year. Well, how come we haven't heard anything else? Yeah, I know some of you have heard one report or two report or three reports. The only problem is we're not hearing the reports like we were hearing back in 2014. Something ain't right, people. Something just ain't right. Now I gotta go. I just thought I'd bring this information to you all's attention, what's being said and how when you're listening to what they're saying, many people would not have caught the young lady saying that it was airborne. Okay, many people would not have caught Mr. Fauci talking about a virus that was contagious, airborne, blah, 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 and like the Spanish influenza. There you go, everybody. I hope this information provides some benefit. Gotta go. Y'all have a good day. Adios, arrivederci, sayonara.